Hey, Ocklawahaboy Rocks here. It's Thunderegg Thursday, and I was working on a different video, and I got started thinking that some of these terms I'm using, some of the things I'm going to be showing you in a very specific way, might be unfamiliar to you. So this is going to be a quick video with a little bit of a primer on terms for when you have more than one Thunderegg involved. So let's get over to the table and let's look at some stuff and talk about it. If you've been on the channel with me for a while, you know, we've looked at a lot of different types of Thundereggs. If you haven't, you know, there's a kind of the classic Thunderegg, Richardson's Bluebed Thunderegg, very prolific. There's a million of these things around. Cut it, polish it, it's going to look something like this. And then you start hearing about doubles, triples, clusters, conglomerate, bird's eye. Well, what's all that stuff mean? And I may not even get it completely right, but here's my understanding of the terms. So we've got double Thundereggs. There's a nice one. You get, to me, a true double. The agate in the middle is joined. Here's another example, and another example. This shows it really well on the back. Most of the rhyolite's off, so what you're looking at is the agate. You've got two very distinct centers, but they're joined in the middle. There's another type that they aren't so distinct, but they are joined, and that one almost looks like it was brecciated at some point. There's the other half of this one. So then move into them getting a little bit more complicated. So here on this shell, you can kind of get the idea that there's multiple chambers, and then you flip it over and you do see that there are at least 3, maybe 4 individual eggs, but they're not so distinct. We're still talking about multis and hadn't gotten to clusters yet. Then we have, that almost looks like the two halves of the same egg. These are not done being sanded. Just the ones I could grab when I decided I wanted to do this video. So what you have here are two very different things. You have an egg with 3 distinct but joined chambers, and this thing, I don't know what's going on here. 3 distinct eggs, but just one band of agate going through the middle. So that's kind of interesting. Then you've got kind of bridging our terminology here. You've probably seen this lily pad egg before. So you have very distinct eggs, but this one here, it is joined in the middle at the agate, so that's just barely connected double. This one up here might be joined a little bit, but then we've got a couple of distinct ones. So you could call that a multi, you could call that a conglomerate, a cluster, I don't know what you would call that. But you got some choices there. Then let's move over to this Dugway. I would call this Thunderegg conglomerate. You've got a bunch of little eggs and the rhyolite in between. In a few cases the eggs are touching, in many cases they're not. It's just the matrix kind of holding them together. This one This is one I would call a cluster. Like all the eggs are just lumped together. It's kind of a dud inside, but it's just, this is a Lucky Strike dud. Just a cluster of dud eggs. And we have another conglomerate here. This is from Killer Green. Got a couple of agate-filled eggs in there. You look at the back, you can see the eggs, but mostly that's rhyolite in there. So I'm going to call that conglomerate. Here's an example that's not been cut. So you can see individual eggs. This is lily pad Washington, and then held together with rhyolite. And this has something other interesting going on. I'm looking forward to cutting this. It's like it was cracked and healed with agate at some point. You know, that seam running down it. Now you can see it a little better. Here's some other conglomerate. I think this was Friend Ranch, Oregon. And then you have whatever you would call this. I would still call it conglomerate. You might just call it a piece of rhyolite, but whole bunch of partially filled voids. And then you move into a real nomenclature problem. So this is called lily pad jasper. It's from Oregon, but really it's Thundereggs and rhyolite. And then you have your bird's eye rhyolite. This is from Mexico. There's ones from all over. So are these little dud Thundereggs? Are they voids in the rhyolite that have just filled in with more rhyolite? And if so, you could then say they're, by that virtue, they're dud Thundereggs. So forgive the tape, that's just how I've got it labeled. So lots of different things with different names. You're going to hear these terms used interchangeably, but just know that, you know, you've got your continuum from true doubles on up to where it gets a little more confusing what you're looking at, and then goes into, is this a cluster, is it a conglomerate, is this bird's eye, is it Thunderegg, what should I call it, is it rhyolite, is it jasper? Gets a little bit confusing, but those are some of the names you're going to hear these different things called. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Just me rambling about some of the different intertwined names on multiple Thundereggs, kind of how I look at them. If you look at it differently, put it down in the comments and let me know. Hopefully that will give you some ideas as you're looking at different Thundereggs and hearing those names. You might have a clue at least what they might mean to the person that's using those terms. I'll see you next Thunderegg Thursday.